The purpose of this video is to walk you through part 3 of your portfolio reflection. I've pulled up my assignment, that's my portfolio reflection. I'm also going to pull up the student exemplar because that's going to be really helpful for me in knowing how long things ought to be and what kind of reflection Ms. Kim is looking for from you. I've got my student exemplar here. We did part 1 and part 2 yesterday, so those are now complete. I'm now looking at part 3. Part 3 is seeing how well you know how to revise your own writing at this point. Remember that yesterday we looked at our rubric and we decided that a 4 was pretty good organization, a 5 was good organization but pretty deep commentary based off of the things that we talked about in class. And then a 6 had excellent organization, excellent commentary, and presented original ideas. So ideas that were creative, that came specifically and only from you, that weren't based off of anything that we said in class, just things that you thought of on your own. So that's what distinguishes a 6 from a 5 and a 4. So we're talking about part 3, revise. We're looking at a piece of writing that we did fairly recently, our timed write 1 from this unit, this past unit, unit 5. So I'm going to choose one body paragraph from my timed write number 1. For the purpose of this activity, you should choose the weaker body paragraph. I'm going to repeat that. You should choose the weaker body paragraph, so the one that you think needs more revision. You should choose that from your timed write number 1. If you don't have that, timed write number 2 also works as well. But if you have timed write number 1, that's the one we're looking for. A reminder that you can pull all your writing from this year from this online document. I'm going to scroll up. So my year-long writing. So I'm going to click on that according to my period. And I'm looking for my timed write number 1. So I'm going to scroll. I see my timed write 1 right here. So if I'm Jordan, I'm going to click on that, open up my timed write number 1. And I'm going to find a body paragraph. Remember the body paragraph that is weaker. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it into part 3, right here on the left. So once we've done step number 2, we're going to move on to step number 3. You're going to highlight each of the writing skills that this paragraph contains. Note that it will be missing some of these writing skills. There's not going to be one body paragraph where you're using all 4 of these writing skills. So don't expect to have all 4 of these writing skills in your one body paragraph. It's great if you do, but don't expect to have all 4 of them in your timed write 1 body paragraph. I'm going to look at the student exemplar at this point, and I'm noticing here this person's copied in their body paragraph and they've highlighted the transition words that they used. They're highlighting whenever they used quotes. I'm noticing right here that they haven't inserted that quote correctly. Don't fix it in here. Don't fix anything here because you're going to revise it. So leave the errors as they are, even if you notice them. And vocabulary words. They don't have literary elements in here, so they're not going to highlight it, which is fine. It's okay if you don't have some of them. We're moving on to step number 4. In the right-hand column, you're going to revise the paragraph to make sure it has all 4 of the skills above. If you're forgetting what the writing skills are, what these 4 look like, the writing skills document is also linked for you here. If you're forgetting what it looks like to insert quotes, you can click on this link, learn how to insert quotes again. If you want to insert a vocabulary word, but you don't know which one would fit best, you should look over there. And literary elements. So if you want to insert a literary element, but you don't know which would be the best fit, you should look here. Obviously, this list has way more than the ones that we learned, but you're only responsible for the ones on the back wall, the key terms. I'm going to find myself back here. So this person has revised their body paragraph, And I'm noticing that they actually switched out their evidence. I guess they read it over and thought that this evidence was not as strong, so they switched it out for stronger evidence just to make this closer to a 6 than this initial body paragraph was. They've also switched their vocabulary word and kind of upgraded how they're using it. They've got the same transition words, so it seems like those were fine. I'm going to look over, see if there's anything else we can edit. I'm seeing an opportunity to add a transition word right here. I'm highlighting that in blue because that's a transition word. The directions also say to make sure that this revised paragraph has all 4 of the skills. So we need to add literary elements, which is what we're missing here. So I'm seeing that this evidence shows that Atticus is confident that he'll be paid and he doesn't need to be paid in money. I'm going to use tone here to insert my literary elements into this revised paragraph to boost this commentary. So I've got confident tone, that's the literary element. I'm going to highlight that in pink, which is the color for literary elements. So now I've got all 4 writing skills here, and my commentary sounds more advanced just adding a literary element. This confident tone that he will be paid, not in money but in resources still, clearly demonstrates that Atticus doesn't care that he is poor and what he gets back, but rather, so I'm going to see that I need to fix that. I'm going to read that over. This confident tone that he will be paid, not in money, but in resources still, clearly demonstrates that Atticus doesn't care that he is poor and rather cares more deeply about serving the needy in his community. Great, so now that works. You should reread multiple times as you're looking at your revised paragraph. This should take you about 20 to 25 minutes. This is part 3. Once you're done with part 3, you're going to move on to part 4.